Hello! New day, new video. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I hope you're doing all okay. Hello, this is Nikki from the future. I completely forgot to say, this is my new series, Nibbles with Nicks. So it's basically gonna be where I make a little something. Today I've just done a cheeky matcha latte. Every time I do it, on the menu will be a different sort of thing we talk about. So today, a lot of it was about dating and independence and kind of just navigating young adult life. And so that was what was on the menu today. And I kind of talked to you guys about what I would do in that scenario, or gave you some advice and hopefully some things that are helpful. And next time I might make pancakes, or I might bake something, but I feel like I was just getting a bit fed up with the format of like, I love answering your questions and interacting with you guys, but I got a bit fed up with just sitting there like talking to the camera a bit like stagnantly. So this way it's kind of a bit more chilled, like FaceTime with a friend vibe, you know, when you're like doing something but you're also talking to them, which is me most of the time with my friends. So this way it literally feels like we're on FaceTime, I'm making myself a little matcha or whatever it may be, cooking up some food while I'm also talking to you guys like a supportive sister or friend. So yeah, that's my new little series, which will be every month or so. So I can't wait for the next one. Let me know if there's also anything you'd like me to make for the series, because I can definitely do that. I felt like a drink is a good start and we'll work our way up. Obviously not anything that needs too much attention because your girl can't multitask for shit, but yeah. I'm excited about this series and having a new little thing to do. I've just got a fresh bamboo matcha whisk. I'm very excited about this. So I'm going to share my matcha recipe with you. I'm missing a couple of things. I'm missing my little mini matcha whisk because it's at my mum and dad's house. Oh no, not my matcha whisk. I'm missing my mini matcha sieve. So I'm going to have to use my massive sieve to do this. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm excited. So let's get some caffeine in my body and let's get answering some of your questions. How the hell do I open this? There we go. My workout for the day. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I don't know why it looks a little different. I really hope you guys enjoyed my last video, which was my empty sort of house tour. I really enjoyed filming it. I feel like because it has been so long since I last filmed a video on YouTube, I almost didn't know what to say, but I really enjoyed kind of taking you guys around my place, about what I've done or what I need to do. And I can't wait for you guys to come along with me on this journey of continuing to do my place. So yeah, very exciting. Let's start doing some questions. Okay, so first things first, matcha-wise, the needs for a good matcha are, and obviously this is my own personal way I make it, obviously everyone can make it however they want, but yeah, if you know, it's just a fun little thing to do, is first I need to open up my drinks cupboard with all of my pretty glasses. I think I'm going to go for this one. I feel like that's quite a cute glass. I've got so many different straws. Yes! I've got so many different straws. What one do I want? This one's really cute actually. It's like a little flower. I love these. You just have to be so careful though, because as soon as you drop these on the floor, they're gone. Next, you need a syrup of some kind if you want. This is like a vanilla syrup, like a proper syrup. And then if you want to be a bit healthier, got maple syrup. You want a good matcha. This is OMG Tea's matcha. I just got it online, but it's got really good reviews and I really like it. You can tell if it's a good matcha by like how bright green it is. And this one is bright green. And then I use oat milk. I'm gonna get my oat milk out. I know oat milk isn't supposed to be the best for you, but it's just what I personally like the most. So yeah, oat milk, and then you can either use like a little handheld like egg whisk, or you can use, if you want to be a bit more, you know, classic. I love my bamboo whisk. So yeah. Oh, and I need a bowl. I feel like this is a good one because it's small and it's glass. Okay, got everything secured that I need. Okay, first question is, what advice would you give someone making a big decision about surgery? It's tricky because there's not really tons of advice I can give you because I don't know your medical situation. I don't know if this surgery is like a necessity for you to have. So it's difficult for me to say anything in regards to that, of course. But I'd say, you know, making a decision about a big surgery is really difficult. It feels like yesterday I was having my massive surgery that was like 12 hours long. I think what I learned is that it's so important to ask as many questions as you can. Sometimes, you know, you feel like because doctors know best, you don't need to ask questions or you feel awkward asking your doctor questions. But it is so imperative that you ask every single question to your doctor or your caregiver, even if you think it's a silly question. I promise you there's no such thing as silly questions when it comes to operations and surgeries, because you're the one going through it. You know, the doctors do their bit and then they leave and they get on with their next thing they have to do. And so it's so important that you feel secure. Now I need to boil the kettle. Okay, kettle's boiled now. Also, I love this Smeg kettle so much. So now I've sieved in my matcha. You basically just pour like a tablespoon's worth of water over it, and then it will start sort of dissolving into it. I like mine on the slightly thicker side, like as a paste. Not a paste, but like kind of thicker when it then mixes into the milk. So yeah, won't look too appetizing right now. And then you just put your whisk in there. Oh my god, this is so messy. And you basically just want to whisk it up. How did it get up here? Oh my god! Having a big surgery is such a personal thing to go through, and it's something that unless, you know, the people around you who have been in that situation before, they can't really offer advice to. The best things I could say are try and bring comforts in hospital with you that are from home that will make you feel comfortable. For me, I will always bring a cuddly toy with me. I'll always bring my jelly cats with me. I'll bring my laptop to watch things that make me feel comforted, some comfy clothes and my own pajamas. So if you can, try and just bring some home comforts into hospital to just make you feel a little bit more comfortable and at ease. I'm thinking of you, and feel free to DM me if there's any more questions you have. But it's so hard, obviously, because I don't know your situation, so I don't know if it's a necessity. I don't know, you know, a lot of things, but those are the best objective sort of things that I could say to you. If you're wondering where I'm looking, I have like my laptop next to me. Any advice for the year 11 GCSEs run up? It feels like forever ago I was in year 11. Guys, I'm gonna be 21 this year. Like, what the actual, what the hell? Like, how am I going to be 21 this year? Okay, GCSEs year 11 run up. It's so funny because I didn't actually end up even doing my GCSEs because it was COVID, the year that my GCSEs were supposed to happen. So I only got predicted grades. But if I can give you any advice, I think make a revision timetable to just give you a little bit of guidance on what to do every day. And I think it's also so important to mix it up and revising in different environments. Maybe it's going to the library or it's going to a cafe rather than just revising in your room. I think it's so important to make that distinction between home being the place you go back to relax, that isn't about GCSEs and work and the stress that's associated with it, and you have other environments that you can go to that you kind of mix up that mean that it allows you to concentrate a little bit more. And I don't know about you, but I really found that, you know, when your friends would say like, oh, do you want to revise together? I actually would rarely do that with my friends because I never did nearly enough as much as I did when I was by myself, because obviously you've got distraction, you know. As nice as it is to have like a study buddy, if anything, actually I got loads less done because of course you want to talk to your friend. Probably revising by yourself is best, but making sure that you get out of the house to revise as much as you can. GCSEs are stressful, and you know, there's so much about the whole school system that I'm not a fan of, and GCSEs and the stress that it puts on you is one of them. In terms of revision techniques, you know, it's different for everyone. Some people can just write out notes from their textbook and that be enough, and other people need to repeat things, you know, like do flashcards and do practice papers and things like that, which is what I found more useful, is actually like using the knowledge for something rather than just making notes, which is what I spent a lot of the first part of my revising doing, and instantly realised like I was wasting my time rewriting notes from my textbook. So yeah, I would say mix up the subjects you learn, change environments to revise, set times of day that you revise, and stick to those if you can. So then outside of that, you can still do things you enjoy, which I think is so important. Oh my god, and before I forget, make sure you sleep. Sleep is key to everything in life, really. Like, if you don't get a good night's sleep, your brain won't be able to function properly, you won't be able to think properly, you won't be able to concentrate. But yeah, other than that, you know, if you've got any siblings or you've got any, you know, if you've got parents that you feel you're able to talk to, then also speak to them. You know, when I was going through my GCSEs, I had 2 older siblings who'd already done it, and the same for A-levels. And so also ask them if there's any advice they'd give you if you have any, or if you have, you know, any family members, like cousins or anything, you can ask, because what works for one person won't work for another, and it's really nice to have people in your circle and in your life that have been through it and understand where you're coming from, you know, because there is life before GCSEs and there will be life after GCSEs, but I know when you're in it, it can be so stressful, and schools also make it feel really stressful, and I hate that they do that, because I understand they're important, but then it's like we're children, you know, and you're stressing us out so much about how like our life is going to end if we don't do well in these GCSEs. So also it's so important to speak to people outside of that, you know, and also see if there's anything they could add. Okay, matcha is made. Can you see she's nice and bright green? We love it. I've been flitting between matcha and coffee a lot recently. For like the first year and a half in my flat, I never had a coffee machine, and now I have one, so I do have the choice of either doing a coffee or matcha, but I just thought matcha's a bit more fun to like show and make on camera. I honestly think though, in a past life, or if I wasn't doing this job, like if anyone ever asked me what would you do instead, I'd be like, oh, I think I'd be a journalist. But then actually my like inner self is like, I'd be a barista. I'd really love to be a barista. Not a barista, a barista, like a coffee barista. Is it barista or barista? That's really gonna bug me now. Please let me know if it's barista or barista. I feel like it is. I'm a barista. Whenever I go into a coffee shop and I see those baristas frothing up their milk and like doing latte art, honestly, it makes me feel full. It makes my soul feel full. In another life, I was a barista, or if social media fails, then I think I'm gonna become a barista. Okay, so I've just added in a bit of maple syrup. I'm gonna just try it and see if it needs any more. I don't think it does. Okay, next question. How to find your style and be confident? Oh, that's a tricky one. In terms of finding your style, like fashion-wise, it has taken me years to find my style, I promise you. When I was younger, well, literally I'd say until I left high school, I had zero personality when it came to my clothes. I was actually talking about one of my guy friends about this the other day, how in school, in like sixth form, said that I was obsessed with street style and started dressing in like really baggy trousers and trainers and like very street style vibe, because it was in trend, in fashion at the time. But I definitely kind of convinced myself that I liked it more than I actually did, because one, I liked a boy at the time who liked that kind of streetwear, so I was like, oh, if I dress like this, he'll like me more, which is not true, and you should never do that. I think I just wanted to be liked and I just wanted to be accepted growing up most of the time, that I just wanted to wear what I thought everyone else thought was cool, or what everyone else thought was fashionable, I guess. So finding my style, I think for me it's been a lot of experimentation. I think it is so much easier when you leave somewhere like school to then find your sense of style, because you're not constantly surrounded by people who all dress the same, and that is, you know, that is how it is. Difference is just not celebrated. It's almost seen as a bad thing, and I absolutely hate that, because I think it can have such like a lasting impact on you. So I'd say for me it's experimenting. I think that's how you sort of have to find your style. If there's anyone, I think going on Pinterest and just like doing a little folder of outfits you like for inspiration is a great place to start, because then you just have some ideas in a board, so that even if you're going out and looking for something to get for yourself to add to your wardrobe, then you can refer to your board of photos you like that other people have. We evolve as people, so even how I do my makeup now is so different to how I did my makeup a year ago. It's okay to look back at your old outfits and be like, oh god, that was a bit rough, because it's been all like developmental to like getting to where you are now and who you are. You know, we all have to go through that phase of, you know, trying to figure out who we were, and I promise you, I had no style for a long time. And even now I look at other people who have such good style and just think like, how does it come so easy to them, you know? Like, I despise packing because I just don't know what to bring with me, because I can't think of outfits in my head. If you're trying to push the boat out and do something a little bit different to normal, like say this is a very basic outfit, I'm wearing a jumper and jeans, but if you want to like add a bit more colour into your wardrobe, then maybe it's getting a colourful belt, or it's getting some chunky bangles. Yeah, I think you don't have to like drastically change your style in one day. It's all about trial and error and figuring out what you like and what you don't like. And I think over the years, you know, of course we look at fashion trends because fashion trends like shape society, but at the same time I really think it's important to not get too in your head about not being on trend or needing to be on trend, because I think I did that a lot. especially as I got more into fashion. I was like, God, I need to be like ahead of the trends to seem fashionable. But actually it's so much about quality over quantity, and like not feeding into like a micro trend. Of course you can buy something that you think is quite trendy and like is something that a lot of people are wearing, but I think don't like go head first into it. A few months down the line that won't be trendy anymore, and then what are you going to do with it? It's a waste. You won't want to wear it, because that's just how it goes in fashion and with style. I think being confident in your own style is tricky. I think for me, if anything, I get a lot of my confidence from how I dress. I'm gonna put some images on the screen of some like bright and out there and bold looks that I've worn. And would I wear those in my everyday life? No way. I would wear this. But doesn't mean that you can't almost take on another like version of yourself and wear that stuff. Whenever I'm wearing like an outfit I feel good in, I have a bit more of like a pep in my step and like confidence to talk to people, you know? I'm still very unsure of myself. I'm still very like comparative of my style to other people, because we're human and that's normal. If you want me to do more of a series about fashion and about style, I'm not a stylist. I have a stylist that helps me out in some of the outfits I wear, and you know, I don't have any speciality in fashion, but I just really love, you know, what clothes can do for you. How do you deal with receiving university rejections and the awkwardness of telling people? I feel for you if this is what you're dealing with at the moment. I haven't been to uni, so there isn't so much that I can say about this. However, I, lived with a brother who got rejected from his first choice uni and ended up having to go through university clearing and going somewhere that he didn't want to go and that he hadn't had his mind set on because he got rejected or didn't get the grades he needed to get. And I've had friends that, have got rejected from their unis, and it's very soul destroying, from watching people who've been through it, and I can only imagine. I think it's so important not letting the rejection from that uni that, you always hope to go to and had your mindset on define you, because you are so much more than uni. Life goes on, and I think that's so important when something like that you had your mind so set on happens. That is completely the opposite way that you hope things would go. Alex was supposed to go to Leeds University and he didn't get the grades, and so he didn't make it into Leeds, and he ended up going to Swansea University in Wales, and actually it ended up being the best thing that had ever happened to him, because he met such good friends there. He got a first at uni, and he ended up being in a completely new environment instead of being in the city or being in a city, and experienced things he never would have met otherwise. I am not a believer in everything happens for a reason, because I think so many terrible things happen in the world and I can't believe that. But I am a believer in sometimes one door closes and another door opens, and it's not the trajectory that you maybe hoped for, but doesn't mean that it wasn't the right one for you, And so I think that's one example. In terms of the awkwardness though, I feel like the only person that really makes that an awkward experience is yourself. I feel like you in your head are probably a bit embarrassed that you didn't make it into the uni you wanted to go to, but there is nothing to be embarrassed about. Truly, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. You're human. These unis don't know you as a person, and that's what I kind of hate, is even the word rejection, because it makes you feel rejected as a person and like you're not yourself good enough. And of course, yeah, your grades objectively weren't good enough for the university, but I hate just the whole thing about exams and how that then can have such an impact on your self-confidence in yourself, and also how you then perceive yourself and your abilities to do what you want to do in life. That's one of the biggest things I hate about school, and I hate about like the whole system, is that we're categorized into numbers, or we're categorized into successes or unsuccesses, and I really hate what an impact words like that and experiences like that can have on people mentally. You weren't rejected as a person, your grades just maybe weren't enough. And I think it's so much easier my leg's getting tired, so I'm like leaning. It's so much easier to like conjure up an awkward experience telling someone something like that in your head than what it really will be. And I get it, I really get it, especially if you've been talking about going to this uni and you've been really excited about it and like talking about it as if it were going to happen, and then you get told that you aren't able to go to that uni. It's soul destroying, But I'm really sorry if that's what you're going through, and I promise you it's not an awkward thing. But how you feel is completely valid, and I really feel for you. It may not be the one you hoped for, but that doesn't mean that's it. And like the story with my brother, that could also lead to an even better experience than you would have hoped for that you never would have had otherwise. Sometimes the universe works in mysterious ways, and although it doesn't make sense at the time, it will eventually, and you'll be glad that that thing at the time that was gutting happened the way it did to lead you to another door. I kind of feel a bit like Gandhi, or like a wise Buddha right now that's like telling you stuff, and a lot of it is just words. I know that, like, you know, I'm no specialist, I'm just telling you what I would do, like a friend talking to you. I feel a bit like Yoda. Okay, advice for not feeling ready for a relationship but also feeling pressured to be in one. Girl, I feel you to the depth of my soul. Obviously, I don't know how old you are, but from your profile picture, you look young. Like, you look like you're in your maybe early 20s or late teens. That feeling is so real. I've got another question I'm going to answer about this, about dating. Especially, again, it goes back to that like comparison thing. When you are surrounded by people, not just in your real life, but on social media, where it's, you know, picture perfect relationships, and there's other people that are in relationships or going through dating experiences, or maybe further along in like having kissed someone or having done more, you know, I think it's so easy to be like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not in a relationship? But at the same time, I think a lot of us, if we were honest, don't want to be in relationships and don't want to go through dating, but do it or force ourselves into it because of you feeling like you're missing out or you're behind society-wise for your age. I know I definitely felt like that. Obviously, for me, it was a more niche experience because I had my disability and my visible difference to go along with it. But at the same time, you know, I think we all have that feeling of feeling like, do I even want a boyfriend? Do I even want a partner? Or do I just feel like I need to have one in order to fit in and in order to keep up with other people? And I think that's a really difficult part of growing up, for sure. As cliche as it is, I truly believe that when you're not looking for a relationship, it will find you. And unless you are happy with yourself and you love yourself, like, you can't love someone else or give your time to someone else, because a relationship should be something that adds to your life. You don't need a partner, you want one, you know? And when you have one and it's healthy, it's the best thing you can have, but you do not need one. They should just add to what you already have in your life. And if you don't feel ready, then chances are you're not, you know? I feel a bit sorry for my younger self because I was never the chosen girl at school. You know that saying that's like, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like, that thing of like, I was the friend that guys would go up to ask me about my friend, because that's the one they liked. And I think then it really had a massive impact on me mentally and not feeling like that was something that was possible for me or that would happen for me. And even now, you know, I'm single, but I'm in my 20s, and luckily my friendship group are all single as well. Like, they, you know, they go on dates and things, but they're all single, which I think I'm selfishly glad about, because it means that, you know, I'm not being left because they're spending time with their partners. And obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but I think you can then feel that like pressure to need to have a relationship and that loneliness even more when the people around you have that and you don't. But there truly is no rush. You know, I am 20, I've never been in a long-term relationship, and there's times where I really love that and wish I had my own person and wish I had those experiences. And I believe that because I've never really felt validated or wanted in that way, that it's not a possibility for me. But you never know where your life is going to take you, and you never know in what scenario you're going to meet someone, and when you meet the right person, it should just click. But it is so interesting me, like, how much of a pressure just in society like is put on people having relationships, or if you haven't been in one by a certain age, well, there must be something wrong with you. No, like you said, maybe you just don't want to. You know, maybe you've not met the right person. Maybe you're trying to focus on yourself or your career or what makes you happy. Maybe you don't want to be tied down. Like, there's so many other factors, and society just seems to like think that your one like goal in life is to find a relationship. And I think that's so not the case, and every single person's different. I've had friends that have been in constant relationships, like, as in, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like one of 6 years and then one of 5 years, like they, you know, have always been dating, like they know no different. But me and some of my other friends, we've never been in a proper relationship, and like you do feel a bit like, oh no, is it me? Is it a me problem? But truly everyone's pathway is different, and growing up, when you do meet your person eventually, or maybe you don't, you know, which is so fine too. you'll be glad that you didn't force yourself into something because you felt like you had to. This kind of leads on to the next question. I have a disability and I'm scared about dating. Me too. I think the world of dating is the most scary thing for someone that has a disability, a visible difference, or is just not the stereotype of a normal kind of beautiful person. It is probably the most scary world for someone like us. Oh my god, I just saw the back of my head and it is such a mess. I need to wash my hair, but like I put some dry shampoo in it and I just saw the back and it was still a white patch of like dry shampoo that I clearly hadn't rubbed in properly. Oh no. Yeah, I think dating with a, disability or not being the like stereotypical person is so difficult because I truly feel that dating, initially at least, is one of the most judgment-filled experiences ever. Dating apps are basically the most superficial thing there is. You're swiping left and right based on how someone looks. At least that was what Tinder was, and I find that they aren't environments that are very accepting or they're not ideal for people like me or people that, don't fit the stereotypical mold of looks. I think, it's not in a way of like anyone saying that I can't use any of those apps, because I can, and you can, with your disability, but it's not really spaces where we feel very accepted. I watched a video and it was about Hinge, the dating app Hinge, and every one of my friends is on Hinge. I'm not on one dating app. One of the guys that's high up at Hinge, he might even be the founder, basically said that the more popular your profile is, essentially the more good looking you are and the more people, give you roses and like you on Hinge, the better people your account will be pushed to and the better people you'll get recommended. And so, as someone that doesn't fit that mold, you're obviously not going to get the roses, really. You're not going to get all the likes that another girl next to you who's stereotypically beautiful is going to get, or another person. And therefore you're basically getting the bottom of the barrel and the zero opportunities compared to the other person. So I don't really have that much advice for you except that you're not alone. I think it's really important, and what I try and remember is that there is so much outside of dating, and again, please don't feel like you're in a rush to date because you feel like you have to. But it may be that you just have to try and find people or meet people in slightly unconventional ways if you're not comfortable going on dating apps. Like, maybe getting a new hobby where you can meet people, or even if you're not, you go to your local pub, maybe you'll start a conversation with someone there, which can happen if you're with your friends. Or maybe it's, asking your friends if there's any mutual people that they know that they also think are nice people that are single to, introduce you to. I think you just have to try and date a bit more unconventionally, which is rubbish. It is that's even an issue we have, but unfortunately that's the reality. And so dating apps, when they don't feel very inclusive for people like us, I guess you just have to find other ways to do it. The only people I've really spoken to in my life in that romantic way have been friends, where it's then kind of become a bit more. And so I think that's probably the best thing I could say to you is just, if there's someone whose vibe you like, just try and get to know them if you meet them and build a friendship first and let them know you and let them know your heart. And I think that's the best way that you can meet someone or date someone, is by becoming their friend. And I promise you, not everyone is as superficial as you may think. There are so many people in the world that don't care about looks. I don't care about looks, obviously, because of what I've been through and how my looks are, and I'm sure you don't either. Actually, a lot of my friends say to me that they don't even see my condition, when they talk to me, they don't even think about it. I'm just Nikki. It will be the same way with you when you're dating someone. Someone will just see you for you, and your disability is nothing. It's the least interesting thing about you. It won't even become a thing. As difficult as it is sometimes, and I think about God, how much easier would my life be if this side looked like this side? Would I be in a relationship right now? What would my life look like in that area? At the same time, why would I want to be with someone as surface level as, caring about appearance, and that being the thing that pushes them to talk to you? Why would I want that? If anything, I almost feel like having a condition means that I cut through a lot of the BS that people people have. And if you're not a genuinely good person, then I don't want it. You know, my life's difficult enough already. I can't be asked for the BS. I can't be asked for the fakery and the surface level stuff. But I think there's something so attractive about someone being comfortable in their own skin and being sure of themselves. There really is. So try your best. I know it's difficult as it is, but to see your disability as your superpower and the thing that makes you you. And I think just believe in timing and just believe that you will meet that person. But you know, it may not be today, it may not be in a month, but you will, and it could be in the most unlikely circumstances. You could go to a cinema and sit next to someone and then get talking, you know, you just don't know. And so I think that's what keeps me going and keeps me hopeful, is that like so many things can happen that you never see coming in life, and you will meet the right person when it's right. But yeah, I'm sending you love, and know that you're perfect as you are, you truly are. And when that right person comes along, they will make you feel that. I need to remind myself of that as well. You know, I say this stuff, but me believing it too is really tricky. So trust me, I know how difficult it is to be someone with a disability in dating. Okay, we've reached the final question. I'm going to try and answer it quite quickly. What's your advice on being independent and getting out of your comfort zone? Love you so much. Love you too. Okay, so I've grown up pretty codependent because, you know, as someone who has a medical condition, I've kind of been forced into being dependent on people. And so for me, you know, as a young adult, I don't have anywhere near as much as independence as my peers and friends around me, which is really difficult because, you know, I think that's a massive part of character building and growing and building more comfort and more confidence in new situations. You know, I'm not spontaneous. I don't like change because a lot of my life has been out of my control with my condition. But what I've learned is that getting out of your comfort zone and being more independent don't have to come from massive, drastic things. It could be as simple as, you know, obviously I don't know exactly like what your comfort zone is, so it's different for everyone, and I don't know like what your independence is. So say that you are quite socially anxious and you don't like speaking to people unless you have to. Getting out of your comfort zone could literally be going up to someone and asking them for directions if you need them when you otherwise wouldn't have. It doesn't have to be something like life-changing, you know? And I think getting out of your comfort zone should be baby steps as well, because that's the only way you'll enjoy it. And once you know that you can do it and prove that to yourself and prove that it's possible and that you got through it okay, it will then make you want to do more things because you'll see that everything was okay and you're able to do it. So this is our comfort zone, right? Like, and in life, if we only stay in our comfort zone, which is understandable as humans, we like comfort because it makes us feel secure, it makes us feel safe, it makes us feel, it makes us feel comfortable, basically. That's why it's called a comfort zone. You know, if we just stay in this circle, all we do is the things that are in this circle, and there is a whole life and a whole experience outside of this circle that you will never know because you just stay in this circle and ruminate and do the same thing, the same routine. But outside of that is so much magic and is so much new experience and enrichment and excitement and joy, but you will never know it if you only stay here. Not to be like morbid, but at the end of our lives, we will never ever be glad that we stayed in our comfort zone. We will be so glad that we took that jump. We were spontaneous. We did the things that we were scared of or we were anxious about, because those are the things that you will remember. For me, I don't have that much independence, so I try and get that independence in little ways when I can, because my independence is very health dependent. So in the last year, I've been able to travel places without my parents, which I never ever thought I'd be able to do because my health was in such a bad place. But recently, my health has regressed quite a bit and I've had quite a few nosebleeds in the last month. And honestly, it's been really difficult for me because as soon as my health gets bad, my independence and want to do anything out of my comfort zone goes straight back to square one. It's like I take one step forward of doing something by myself. Like, last year in December, I went on the train for my first time ever in my life. Me and my friend went to the theatre and she was going a different way, and it took me so long by cab to get into London. I actually was just so done with, wasting time travelling that I was like, a train is going to be so much quicker getting home. But I was so scared going on the train by myself of people staring at me or being put in an uncomfortable situation. I was so scared. I was just sat on the train, like back facing the wall, listening to music, just looking at every stop being crossed off, and as we passed it, wanting so badly to get home because I was just so anxious being there. But that's something that I did, that was completely out of my comfort zone, and I was so proud of myself for it, and that's a bit of independence. And so that independence doesn't have to be big things either. So because for me, the small wins of independence, which are the like nothing to people travel to work on the train every day, like my siblings, but I've never done that because I never could. So the fact that I did that is massive, like it's so big. I'm really proud of myself. And so I think it's all about just when you can trying to just be like, things will be okay. And going on the train then proved to myself I made it home in one piece, I was okay, so I can do that again if I need to. So it's those types of things where I think there's no right or wrong to independence or leaving your comfort zone. It's different for everyone, and it's about sort of judging what's right for you. Just go with the flow and you've got this. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I really hope I haven't rambled too much, but knowing me, would it be a Nikki video if I didn't? No. But yeah, thank you guys so much for sending in your questions. I am completely judgment free about everything that you sent in, and I truly just want the best for you. So if there's any way that any of this helps you, I would be so happy. But you know, I'm also just trying to figure out and navigate life myself, so you're not in this alone. It's difficult, you know? It's been a difficult start to the year, it really has. It's been quite heavy, I feel like, the start to the year. So I'm thinking of everyone if you're going through it at the moment. I know I'm struggling a bit, but I think we just have to try and take each day as it comes, and you know, you're doing the best you can, and I think at times that's all you can do. Yeah, but I love you guys, and I'm really happy to be back. Promise you I'm on a roll now with filming. I would love to know what videos you guys would like to see, because sometimes I don't know what you want to see. Also, I am drinking my matcha, but you know, because I'm talking, it's like I can't drink and talk at the same time. I've realised that whenever I meet people now and we're like catching up, I'd rather go for coffee than food, because I feel so awkward like trying to eat and swallow my food while I am trying to talk to someone. I've never understood doing a meal as the first date and over coffee. But yeah, let me know if there's any other videos you guys would like to see from me, whether it's more fashion or beauty, or if it's more just lifestyle chatty stuff, or if it's house orientated. I have some ideas under my belt, but I love you. I'm sending lots of love your way. But yeah, I love you guys, sending hugs your way, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.